Hello again. Here we are for another edition of Popper's Pastimes, not in the workshop today, but just out around Clumber Park, and I thought I'd do another attempt at this deer taxi video. This is my second attempt now, and the reason I'm doing it again is because I forgot half of the mods that we'd done on this in the past. So I have a list. I'm going to go through the list and hopefully we'll capture most of them. So, the deer taxi. It's a 2005 Mitsubishi L200. I think they refer to it as the K74. The engine is the 4D56. It's a 2.5 litre. This is it was 18 years old when I bought it, and I've done a few mods to it, and some of the obvious ones that you can see are the external lights, the snorkel, and if you look at the front you can see that there's a stone chip guard. So if we just come for a walk up, one of my favourite quotes: life's tough, it's tougher if you're stupid. But under the number plate you've got a small light bar, which is also connected to the large light bar which we've got at the top, and then you've got the stone chip guard, which you can see there. On the side we have the snorkel, and the tyres that are on this are Insa Turbo Rangers, and they're part off-road, part on-road. I think the ratio is something like 60-40, but like I said, it's mainly a road vehicle with occasional off-road use when we're up in Scotland stalking. So all of the tyres have been replaced, even the spare. So you can see under the back there you've got the spare, but it's showing some signs of wear now. On the bonnet you can see that it's got paint degradation. Part of the paint degradation is what I think is a nice patina, really. It shows its age and it's clearly been used. A couple of things that I've done to it: I've had the engine completely rebuilt. I'm just going to pop the bonnet. So under the bonnet, or the hood as the American viewers will refer to it, you can see that we've got the red top rocker cover. That denotes that the engine's been rebuilt by the Staffordshire Truck Company, so it's a full rebuild. It's had everything: new crank, new head. We've had quite a few of the ancillaries, pulleys replaced, obviously all of the belts, etc. So this should be good for another, probably, hopefully 100,000 miles. It's got 85,000 on it. The engine was rebuilt around about 79. But other mods that you can see under here is just down here. I've got a little PA speaker, an external PA speaker, which is rigged up to the CB radio, which is inside. But that's it for under the hood. There's not a huge amount to see in there, other than the work that's been done by Staffordshire Truck Company. So in terms of the lights, I've really only replaced the bulbs in the headlights. You can see there's a little bit discoloration on the lenses. I need to perhaps do something with those. The side repeaters have been replaced with LEDs, and if we look at the indicators on the side, these have been replaced and swapped out with smoked versions. I'll pop the 4 ways on, you can see how they look. So you can see they're LED side repeaters. If we go around to the rear of the vehicle, you can see that the rear lights have been swapped out with smoked lenses. The brake and the normal lights are just LED. Standard incandescent for the indicators, which can be replaced, and the reversing light and the fog lights are also standard incandescent bulbs, which again is something we might look at replacing. The fog light on the back, I've not really done much with it, but I probably will do. It just takes time. My little Redneck Edition sticker, and then we've got a couple of There's my Armed Forces veteran sticker. Breaker on board, Muppet Channel 14, here's her on. Deer Taxi, Royal Corps Transport veteran, and Richie Nank's knives. You probably, if you're a fan of the channel, you'll have seen that video. A couple of bits on the back is you can see there's a 2-inch receiver that's just been located under the normal tow bar. That's not really for anything other than some attachments for stalking, and I'll probably cover those in other videos. So I've got a Bambi box carrier, which I've got because the mods that we've made on the bed don't allow for the Bambi box to fit in, so I've just bought a Bambi box carrier, and that'll fit on there. Other things that I've got on there is that for basically a winch and a pulley system, so that when we're skinning deer we can do that on the top, and it'll hopefully give us a little bit more space. So the 2-inch receiver is more of an accessory thing than it is a practical towing feature. Things that you can probably see from here is the windows have been blacked out. These have got limo tint on. Everything's all UK legal, so the tint that we've got here on the rear is perfectly legal, and then we've got the wind deflectors that go around the side of the windows. And there's the antenna for the CB, and then up top we've got 2 100-watt solar panels, and as you can see, beautiful afternoon here in Clumber, and the solar panels will be charging nicely. So that's most of the exterior mods that I've done. I'm just going to check my list because there's bound to be things that I've missed. So we'll just go on to the interior. I'm going to flick the lights off now, and then you can hear the warning lights and the warning buzzers. Things in here that are different. If I turn the music down, I don't want to get copyrighted on this. Steering wheel is off a Mitsubishi Colt, so the existing steel steering wheel for this is much bigger, a bit more agricultural really, so I wanted to replace that with something that made it feel a little bit more like a car. So this is off a Mitsubishi Colt. I think I sent it to Royal Steering Wheels, and what they did is they matched it with the interior. You can see that there's a replacement armrest which is inside, and in order to get this to fit properly, I've had this caddy made. Now this caddy was made by 3D printing workshop in Worksop, and it's a guy called Stuart Green, and he's absolutely brilliant at what he does. He could take pretty much anything and convert it into a design and make it work for you. And he's done a few things for me. I'll put the link in the description below, but if you can see here where the CB is, this was basically a coin holder, and so what I've done is I've had Stuart create me a custom shroud which bolts inside there, which holds the CB. So the CB is firmly held in place with a little 3D printed bracket. Absolutely superb. Fits like an absolute charm. And then at the top here, if I just put the ignition on, you can see the bezel that we have for what was the original instrument panel, which had an inclinometer, temperature gauge and a clock on there. So I've replaced it with one of these, and if I can just get that a little bit closer, you'll be able to see it. And it's got quite a bit of information on there. There is an inclinometer, there's a speedo, it gives you the GPS location, so if you're fairly observant you can see exactly where the video was created if you want to. And it works perfect. This bezel around here is all 3D printed. So again, I'll do a video on how I did the shroud and how I did the instrument panel, and then you'll be able to see what I've done to it. On the side of the steering wheel, you've got a mobile phone holder, and the mobile phone holder is there just purely to charge it. If I unhook that, it comes off. It's also a charger, and it also just grips the phone. So the cable's plugged in at the bottom, and it works an absolute treat. The head unit was replaced with an Android CarPlay kind of gadget, if you like. So what I've done is it's a standard single DIN slot, but it has this screen which is attached to it. Part of the screen is the map, the other part is, for example, the stereo or other bits that you can have running on it. I've got a wireless connector for the Apple CarPlay so that it just connects wirelessly. I don't need to plug a USB into that. And then down below, obviously the CB. Up top there is a dash cam rear view mirror. Rear view mirror is not that useful, if I'm being honest, but it is what it is for the dash cam. I don't necessarily use that much because I can't see much out the back window with the tints that's on there. I've got on the side doors, as you can see over there, you've got a cup holder. On this side I've not bothered with the cup holder because I've been experimenting with this Osmo camera holder, but basically these are GoPro holders, and what you can do is you can slide them on and off, so you can use different attachments on these. These are riv nutted into the side of the door panel. I'll put some pictures on there if I can find some of when I did that installation, but you can swap these out. And again, Stuart 3D printing printed me the brackets. I think I've actually got one. Let's have a look. I've got one in here. Yeah. So this cup holder, I wanted something that was fairly big, because the cups that I've got are fairly big and they don't fit the standard cup holder. The cup holder in here has been obscured by the entertainment system, so I needed something that would enable me to connect it to the door and a GoPro mount. So Stuart very ingeniously created me a solution for that. So this just basically unclips off like this, and then the cup holder clips on, and then I have a cup holder, and it's a good size cup holder. Works an absolute charm for me. That's pretty much the front. A couple of things that you might notice: the air freshener. We have a tendency to shoot these, so I don't always remember to take my targets to the range, but what I quite often do have is a stash of little trees air fresheners, and so it's now become a bit of a, I suppose, tradition that when I need new air fresheners I staple a couple of the trees on at the 200-yard range, and then we shoot them with a 6.5 Creedmoor, and just something fun to do. I don't know why we do it now, but it's just a fun thing to do. In the back I've got mole seat back holders. I use these for a variety of different things. I'm now keeping in the back there, as you can see, targets. I have a stapler. There's my anti-midge stuff. We've got some first aid features in there, a little tool pouch which is dead handy for when you're on the range and you just need to maybe nip up a scope or do something. You know, the amount of times I get asked if I've got anything, I always tend to keep a battery pack in there which is on charge all the time, just in case I do need one. Brolly on the back seat, some range high-vis vests that we need when we're ROing or doing the range control officer, and like I say, it's not that big in the back. I would say it's a bit too small really just for my grandkids, and they're not very old. Something that matches those, which I probably missed, is I've got these mole sun visor covers which are useful for keeping things like pens. I've got nail clippers there, and people give me stuff. I've got your first aid stuff, which is something that I'm a bit of a stickler for, is keeping first aid stuff in the vehicles. But in the back, behind this seat, put it back. What the quality of the video will be like back here. but I've got a tow strap, there's a bottle jack there. My tool roll is just here. So that tool roll's got all the bits that I might need in an emergency. And then just over there, I'll probably attack that from the other side, is the solar controller. Spare oil, because these things actually use oil, and you've got some jump leads, and you've got the release bar for the spare wheel. And I'll just leave the chair like that, and we'll cover that. So back around the other side, you can see here is the solar controller, isolator, and then just down there is the fuse for it. So it's all installed, everything's working as I'd expect it to, and it keeps my my fridge running basically without any external power. And that's really the interior and the back. Another air freshener that's been shot. And then that leads us to the bed. So another feature that's in the Deer Taxi, and I knew I'd forget something, are these USB sockets. There's another USB socket which is pretty much where the cigarette charger used to be, and I'll just try and get these on camera now so you can see them. So I'll just point the camera down here, and you can see either side of the handbrake, which is a bit of a mess at the moment. Got a light bar switch, and then there's a strobe light switch, which is just there. But underneath here is where the replacement for the cigarette charger was, and that just powers the dash cam. So the bed of the vehicle, I'll just open it up. In here is where a lot of my stuff is kept, mainly for range days really. I probably do more range days than I do stalking days, which is the reality of it. I'd like to do more stalking, but ultimately there's only so much meat that you can store, and when I'm stalking, I eat what I shoot. I don't shoot for the sake of shooting. There are people I know that have got tasks to clear land and make sure that the land is managed properly, and those will use game dealers to consume their meat. But while I don't have to do that, I would rather just consume what I shoot. So in here I've got water. Underneath my chair is the leisure battery. It's not anything fancy, just does what I need it to do. I have a chair which is always handy for the range, my roll mat, and then I've got a bag which is my range bag. So that has got things like roll mats in, and tools and bags, and little rice bags for levelling your butt up with. I've got some wipes there, and then I've also got a trauma bag. So I'm a ballistics trained range first aider, and so one of the things that we try to do is keep our own trauma bags, and the reason for that, the rationale for that, is that we know what's in our trauma bags, and we know where it is, so we can get to it fairly quickly. I've also got in here my brew bag. If you watched any of the videos on the channel, you've probably seen the video of the brew bag. It just details everything that I tend to keep in there. And back there I've got a jerry can with fuel, and here we've got a 12 volt fridge. So this 12 volt fridge is powered by the solar panels, and you can probably see, I don't know whether you can see from the temperature of that and the condensation on the side, that the fridge is working exceptionally well. It's down at 2 degrees, and it's good for beer as well. I've got an individual fire kit which gives me various different methods and ways that I can start fires or ignite my cooker. Like I say, check the video on the brew bag and you'll see how that works. And then over here I've got my water. There's another water at the back there. I don't tend to keep as much with me. There's not normally that much of a reason to. It's just that that was already in, and this one didn't fit with the new pallet, or should I say palletized storage area. The storage works based on this paracord. You pull a paracord and it will pull out your drawers. Works really well on the bed. You can just slide things across. And then I've got a brew kit here, which is quite useful. This is a battery operated tap. You basically just plug it into a mini USB, charge it. You can see on the back there's the charging point. There's some controls on the top, and if you pop that in, take kettle out, just tap the 600, then it will dispense your water, and that's pretty much how it works. Very handy. You can use this so if you've got yourself up to your elbows in blood or anything from gullicking your deer, you can tap this with your elbow and it'll turn the water on. You can rinse off. So that's 600 ml of water, typically enough for 2 brews. You can fire that straight away. It's all clean. I tend to, before I go anywhere, I put this water in there from the tap in the house, so I know that it's clean. These are water containers, so it works really well, and that's how that works. You just slots in with a straw. Made that with an existing lid, just basically drilled a hole, fitted it with a grommet. The grommet causes a little bit of friction for it to grip onto, but that's essentially what we've got here. We'll just empty that out, and on the other side there is more containers, more water, wipes. I've got my individual first aid kit. Now this is the first aid kit which we have to have for stalking. Forestry Scotland insist on stalkers carrying their own first aid kit, so this is really if anything happens to me. Wash bag, I'll do a little video on the wash bag, you'll be able to see how that works. And then just at the back I've got spare oil and some Wellingtons, sheep shaggers as we call them. And then when we're finished with that, it just goes in, and everything is stored nice and neatly. But that is pretty much the deer taxi. The video is already a little longer than I wanted it to be, but there's quite a few mods and I wanted to capture everything. So if anyone's got any questions, any suggestions, any ideas about some good mods that I could do that would make it that little bit better, then let me know. I will do a little video on the Bambi box holder, and like I say, I'll do a video on my overnight bag, or my wash bag, which is what we use for personal hygiene. Again, it's nothing tactical, you know, too old for that now, but I'll do a vid just explaining what's in there and how we use it. As we say though, there's no point tickling it.